The first Labour MP has broken ranks to oppose the McGowan government's draft euthanasia laws, delivering an excoriating assessment of the bill and likening it to unfurling a white flag of surrender on caring for the dying. Gurine MP Margaret Quirk said the bill offered Western Australians fewer safeguards than those contained in recently enacted Victorian legislation and criticised the government's consultation process. The former federal prosecutor said the amount spent on palliative care in Washington was still inadequate and a government announcement of $41 million extra included $5.7 million to implement euthanasia, along with $5 million already meant for aged care to be spent on a rebadged aged care and palliative care facility. In waving that white flag, we are conceding that we cannot marshal the considerable resources in our health system to allow those with a terminal illness to enjoy quality of life for their remaining time, Ms. Quirk said. We are conceding that in a state like Washington, we cannot provide timely access to palliative care to all Western Australians, irrespective of where they live. By giving up, we consign the vulnerable, depressed, mentally ill and the socially isolated to the risk of coercion, or worse still, that they feel they have no choice but to accede to an early and untimely death. Ms. Quirk estimated over the next 4 years, the government would have to spend an extra $600 million and recruit 35 more palliative care specialists to bring services in this sector up to scratch. It is calculated that the appropriate ratio for palliative care specialists should be 2 per 100,000. Washington currently has 0.57 per 100,000. Ms. Quirk also criticized government claims there were more than 100 safeguards in the draft legislation. Many of the so-called 102 safeguards are eligibility criteria rather than protections, she said. It is worth noting that there are fewer protections than in the Victorian laws. I ask, surely Western Australians deserve the same. Although the state government said consultation on euthanasia had been extensive, Ms. Quirk said, if you think consultation has its ordinary meaning of discussion, dialogue, debate or seeking advice, you are seriously mistaken. Anyone who attended those fora will know that comment was not invited nor wanted from those opposed to the laws, she said. The introduction and enactment of laws was presented as a fait accompli. Ms. Quirk outlined a number of questions about the proposed legislation. While Labour MPs have been permitted a conscience vote on the euthanasia bill, Ms. Quirk is the first to indicate she will oppose it. Attorney General John Quigley indicated his support for the legislation earlier in the day's debate.